You think you are poor because of the economy or lack of opportunity. You are wrong. You are broke because your brain has been legally hijacked by multi-billion-dollar corporations. Every single time you unlock your phone, a silent chemical war begins inside your mind. The weapon they are using against you is a tiny neurochemical called dopamine. Dopamine was designed by nature to make you hunt, build, and survive in the wild. But today, tech giants have engineered a way to hack that system for absolute profit. They turned your evolutionary drive for survival into an endless, mindless scroll. Every scroll gives your brain a cheap hit of pleasure, and it costs you everything. You aren't spending your money in these apps, you are spending your focus. And in the modern world, an undisciplined mind is a guaranteed recipe for poverty. The trap is so clever because it makes you feel like you are actually doing something. You watch business videos, you read motivational posts, you save money guides, your brain releases dopamine, celebrating a victory you haven't actually earned. You feel accomplished, you feel rich, until you lock your phone screen and find yourself sitting in the exact same messy room with a $0 bank balance. To understand how this poverty trap works, you must look at the currency of drive. Your brain maintains a delicate, flat baseline level of dopamine at all times. When you work hard, save money, or finish a project, your baseline spikes slowly. This slow release teaches your brain to value struggle because the reward feels earned. But scrolling social media behaves like an illegal chemical explosion inside your system. It forces an immediate, hypermassive spike in dopamine without any physical effort. But your brain hates extreme spikes. It demands balance at all costs. To protect itself, the brain triggers a brutal chemical crash below your normal baseline. This crash is experienced as a state of deep boredom, anxiety, and absolute lack of drive. This is the exact moment where your financial fate is decided. The average person cannot tolerate this low state. They reach for the phone again. Another spike, another crash. Over time, your baseline is permanently ruined. Things that require long-term effort, like building a business, now feel completely impossible because your brain refuses to work for a reward that takes 6 months when it can get one in 6 seconds. You have officially entered the state of biological bankruptcy. Now, let's look at a dangerous paradox. Why do smart people fail so easily? Intelligence is a powerful tool, but without dopamine discipline, it is entirely useless. High IQ individuals often build the most elaborate excuses to justify doing nothing. They call it planning, they call it researching, but your brain calls it a dopamine shelter. Because sitting and overthinking an idea releases just enough cheap chemical satisfaction to replace the work. You feel like an entrepreneur because you watched a podcast. You are just a consumer. True execution requires you to step out of the illusion and embrace the absolute boredom of raw effort. The modern trap is engineered to make you hate the quiet phase, where real empires are built. If you cannot sit in an empty room for 1 hour without reaching for dopamine, you are not free. You are an economic slave to an algorithm that trades your focus for ad revenue. To break this cycle, we must completely shift our strategy. We must execute a dopamine detox. This is not a trendy internet challenge. This is a biological reset of your entire neural network. The ancient Japanese samurai understood this process deeply. They called it the Code of Muga. Muga means the state of selflessness, where your ego dies and absolute presence takes over. When you sit in meditation, you are not hiding from the world. You are confronting your greatest enemy, your unmonitored mind, the mind that demands immediate pleasure and leads you straight into poverty. For the next 24 hours, you must empty your cup. No screens, no notifications, no cheap escapes. Your brain will scream. It will beg you for stimulation. You must learn to sit still. When you master the capacity to be bored, you master your attention, and attention is wealth. True wealth is not about buying consumer goods. It is about buying back your time freedom. Every hour you spend scrolling is a check you sign directly to a tech monopoly. You are trading your absolute highest leverage asset, your youth, for a cheap hit of comfort. The undisciplined mind chases money to run away from boredom. They will stay broke. But the disciplined mind chases freedom by welcoming boredom. They command premium wealth. Look closely at your
System
hands.
diagnostics
Look at your
complete.
glowing
Core
screen
vitals are
right
holding.
now. This device is either a tool you use to build an empire or a cage that locks your potential. You choose every single 5 minutes. You choose your baseline destiny. The past is entirely gone, and the present moment is slipping away fast. But look ahead. The unwritten peak of your potential is still waiting for you. Step out of the digital illusion, step into the real arena, because your best self is still unwritten peak.